Everyone thinks that Bluey and Bingo once had a brother in the past, but hardly anyone knows that actually it was a baby girl. Have you ever wondered what the show would be like if Bluey's sister had been born?
What?
Bluey's sister would have been called BB Healer, and we know that because it's already clear that the children of Bandit and Chili all have names starting with the letter B. In the case of the oldest pup, the nickname BB is short for Bridget, which is a pretty common name in Australia. Some might think Bluey would have had a baby brother, but that wouldn't make much sense. Joe Brumm, the show's creator, decided more than 10 years ago that Bluey would be a series led by female characters with Bluey and her sister Bingo as the leads. BB Healer would have been the oldest sister to Bluey and Bingo, and because of that, she would have had more experience than the younger ones, leading their games and even helping Bandit and Chili take care of the little ones. But what would her personality have been like if BB Healer were alive? We actually know the answer to that. We know who her friends would be, who her future boyfriend would be, and even what lies ahead for Bluey's big sister. And you don't have to wait to find out what the Bluey series would have been like if BB Healer, Chili's first daughter, had lived. Grab your popcorn because this is another Cinewave. Everyone knows that the Healer family show is full of best friend duos like Bluey and Bingo, Rusty and Jack, Coco and Indy, so of course BB Healer would have had a best friend too, and her name would have been Mia. You get why Bluey and Mia are so close, right? Mia is to Bluey what BB Healer would have been, an older sister figure. Both pups would have been 12 years old today, and because of that, they wouldn't be studying at Calypso School anymore. Remember in the episode Barky Boats that Mia was moving away? Mia and BB would have been classmates and gone to school together. For sure, the two of them would go to the mall to do bestie stuff like shopping for clothes or catching a movie together. They'd probably play sports too. We know Mia likes cricket since she was at her older brother's match, Rusty's brother, and because of that, we also know BB would have played a lot of cricket too. Would she be any good at it? What would BB Healer's favorite toy be? Bluey has the owl Chattermax, Bingo has her bunny Floppy, but as for the oldest sister, we're pretty sure her favorite plush would have been Mr. Monkey Jocks. He's an old toy that's still at the Healer's house. It was probably originally bought for Chili's first child, but since sadly that pup was never born, Bluey and Bingo ended up with him. We know Mr. Monkey Jocks would have been BB's because Chili didn't want to donate the toy when Bandit asked the girls to pick which ones to give away. So the big question is, which toy was supposed to go that day when Bandit lost his patience in the Mr. Monkey Jocks episode? There's no way BB Healer would have let her dad donate her best plush friend. One thing's clear, unlike Bluey's noisy Chattermax, Mr. Monkey Jocks never annoyed anyone, which makes him a perfect favorite toy. What would BB's room look like? Since she'd be the oldest, she would have her own space to sleep in, unlike her younger sisters who still share a room. BB Healer, being 12 years old, would definitely be into rock bands, teen movies, and maybe even video games. Her room would definitely have some sort of reference to the band Custard for a few reasons. 1. The band is from Brisbane, the same place where the show is set. 2. One of the show's original theme songs is from that band. And 3. The lead singer of Custard is Bandit. Yep, the original voice of Dad Healer is actually a member of that band. So it totally makes sense for BB Healer to be a Custard fan. Her room would also probably have things like Mr. Monkey Jocks, a surfboard, and even a computer. Do you have a cool room like BB Healer's? Comment with #BB so we can get to know ya. Another theory about BB Healer is that if she had been born, Bingo's dream about the planets would have been totally different. In the episode Sleepy Time, the youngest pup of the family dreams that she's inside the planet Earth, as if our world were an egg. When Bingo hatches in her dream, she sees another egg nearby that's already cracked. That one would represent Venus. In that episode, Earth represents Bingo, the sun is Chili, and the planet Jupiter is Bandit. Venus is Bluey, while Mercury represents Chili and Bandit's unborn child. We know that because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, so it would be their first child. The second closest is Venus, which is cracked because Bluey was already born, and Earth stands for Bingo. In the original episode, the planet Mercury isn't cracked because BB Healer was never born. But if she had been, Bingo's dream would have been different, and that would be the biggest change. BB Healer would have shown up in that dream with her sisters, and it probably would have been an even more beautiful and emotional episode. One of the most emotional stories in the whole series is the rain episode, where Bluey and Chili spend the day together, and at the end we see 2 rainbows. The truth is, that episode only exists because BB Healer was never born, and the proof is that Bluey and Bingo are what people call rainbow babies, as shown at the end of the episode. These kinds of pups are called rainbow babies because they're born after a couple experiences the loss of a child. So, Chili didn't get to have her first pup, BB Healer. Then Bluey was born to help heal the family's heart. That also means that if Bluey's older sister had lived, we wouldn't have one of the most important episodes in the series. And as sad as that may be, Wouldn't it be amazing to meet BB Healer?
Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
One important thing we know about BB Healer is that she would have given lots of advice to her little sister, especially when it comes to Bluey's first crush. We already know our main character feels something for Mackenzie. We know it's love, but she hasn't quite realized it yet. And since BB Healer would be the older sister of the little blue pup, she would definitely notice Bluey's feelings. That's why we imagine a very special episode where the two of them talk about first love. Of course, by the end of the story, Bluey would realize that it's not the right time to focus on those feelings, because she and Mackenzie are still way too young. That kind of love can only grow into something real when they're older, and BB Healer, being more mature than Bluey, would help her understand that. Another thing we know about this character is that she would have been the flower girl at Frisky's wedding. That actually makes a lot of sense, since brides often choose a young girl around BB Healer's age to walk in with them and help with the dress. This is especially important because there's a detail most fans have never picked up on. Frisky would have been BB Healer's godmother, not Bluey's. But we'll get back to that in a moment, so stick around. Would BB Healer have enjoyed being the flower girl at Frisky's wedding? Probably. The episode would have been super fun if that character existed. You know what's even more fun? Subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell.
Of course!
We mentioned that Uncle Radley's wife, Frisky, would have been BB Healer's godmother, not Bluey's. But how do we know that? Easy. Chili's best friend is Frisky. The two of them have been close since they were little and grew up as neighbors. Chili chose Frisky to be the godmother of her first daughter. In the show's current version, that child is Bluey, the main character. But if BB Healer had been born, of course Chili would have chosen her best friend to be BB's godmother. That means Chili always intended to pick Frisky from the very beginning. So the double babysitter episode, where we first meet Frisky, would have played out a little differently. Sure, Frisky would still fall in love with her future husband that day, but she'd be there to visit her goddaughter BB, not Bluey. So do we know who BB Healer's future boyfriend would be? Of course we do! Bluey's big sister would have fallen for Digger, Rusty's older brother. We can tell because Mia and Captain, who are Bluey's future besties and maybe even a couple one day, are part of the same friend group as Digger. He's an important character in the series because he's the brother of a character who was originally meant to be the show's lead. What does that mean? Well, since Rusty was planned to be the main character, Digger would have had a much bigger role in the storyline, and we all saw Mia in the older kids' cricket game in the cricket episode. That tells us BB Healer would have been really close to Digger, and at some point the two of them would have fallen in love. And that would have been super cute, right? Too bad she doesn't actually exist in the show. One of the episodes we're absolutely sure would exist is the airport, a day when Chili takes her daughter BB Healer to work. In lots of places, there's a tradition called Take Your Kid to Work Day, where parents show their kids what they do for a living. Chili works as a security officer at the Brisbane airport, which is a nod to the real-life jobs that working dogs have in airports. BB Healer would have had the best time on this day, meeting people about to travel, eating at the airport restaurants, and even stepping onto planes before takeoff. This episode would be extra special because, as we know, the series made the choice to give Chili the emotional experience of losing a child, something that hasn't yet been revealed to Bluey and Bingo. So having an episode where BB and Chili spend a full day together, just the two of them as mother and daughter, would be incredibly touching, and maybe even replace Rain in the timeline. The story would start with Chili waking up her first daughter and driving her to the airport. BB would soon meet Chili's grumpy boss, who seems mean at first, but ends up warming up to the pup. The boss would show her all the security zones at the airport and explain why that kind of work is so important. And BB would realize that her mom is actually a hero, because every day she helps stop bad things from happening. And maybe that would be the day BB decides her future. Would she want to be a security officer like her mom? Or maybe a pilot? Here's a really big question. Would Bingo have been born if BB Healer had lived? In the episode Perfect, when Bandit is talking to his friend Fido, Winnie's dad, the two of them mention that Bandit might have a surgery that would prevent him from having more kids. In the episode Bedroom, when Bluey asks for her own room, Chili starts crying because the baby crib is being taken away. The reason is that the Healer couple decided not to have 3 kids. 2 pups were enough for them. So does that mean Bingo wouldn't have been born? That's a big question, but it's just a theory, because in the actual show, the story goes a different way. And if you want to discover more theories about the world of animated shows, we've got 2 more videos lined up for you to enjoy. We'll see you in the next one.